Turn myself into a pickle, Morty! Boom! Big reveal, I'm a pickle. What do you think about that? I turned myself into a pickle! I'm Pickle Rick!
Can you make these baseball cards playable?
Baseball card deck?
I play.
Baseball card deck?
I play Kirby Puckett.
Yeah,
I play Joe Waller in attack
in our spoof of Hugo. I play Jackie Robinson!
Joe Waller has a special
some random
effect.
black person.
Jackie Robinson takes all white players off the field.
Replaces them with black people.
This'll change up your whole place. No, my deck is the white attribute.
Anyways, hey everybody. The other day we watched the new movie Deadpool, the newest superhero movie. Newest one out of the bunch. So Aiden, what was the plot of Deadpool?
Deadpool 2 is about Deadpool, aka
Wade Wilson.
Wade Wilson, aka Ryan
It was
Reynolds.
a rip off of Slade Wilson, the Deathstroke from DC.
That is a good point. That is the secret origin of...
It's not a secret. It's pretty blatantly obvious.
Slade. Anyway. Picking up from Deadpool 1, Deadpool's girlfriend gets fucking killed. And he's like, damn, that really sucks. And then he finds this really morbidly obese Mexican kid who can shoot fire out of his hands and was molested.
You're gonna pay! He's a molester! He's a child molester! Ah!
And he says, we're friends now. And they go to jail together. And then Cable comes back from the future and tries to kill the obese kid. And then
Killed his family.
Deadpool learns a lesson about
In the
family
future.
and trust.
He teams
And
up with that
friendship.
Force too.
Yeah, he does that too. And Connor, what'd you think of Deadpool 2?
Well, I think this movie should have had two directors. Because one of the directors from John Wick directed this movie, and the action scenes were very well done. Deadpool's action scenes were cool when he was killing those like mobsters. Cable comes in and it's like, why don't we have a Cable movie? Why are they planning all these crappy ass movies and there's not a Cable movie? Cable was cool. Domino was pretty cool. The fight scenes were cool. That said, 95% of the comedy was cringy to me, and part of that is the writing, but part of it was like some of the jokes I'm like, that would have hit if the timing wasn't so weird. And I know Ryan Reynolds could do the comedic timing. Maybe it was in the editing partially, but you know, there's a lot of factors into that. But Deadpool 1 I thought was a lot funnier, and the action was still pretty cool in Deadpool 1, but Deadpool 2 had a lot better action than Deadpool 1, and Deadpool 1's jokes landed a little bit better. You know, but Deadpool, you know, once again I can say the thing I like about this movie over like the actual Deadpool characters in the comics and in the cartoons and shit, Deadpool's fucking cringy. He's a cringy character. I don't like Deadpool in the slightest. I think he sucks. But that said, in the movies they surprisingly tone it down so he's a little less memeing to the point where it gets cringy like he is in the comics. So, you know, there were the moments that were really funny, like the original X-Force was pretty funny, I'm not going to spoil that, but I thought it was funny, it had its funny moments. The plot was kind of all over the place, but really it was more about the family moral, which was also kind of just a meme at the end of the day, but it was more about the moral was the plot, and I guess the kid being hunted by Cable, Juggernaut showing up and all that. Oh, spoiler alert on that, whatever. But yeah, I mean, overall it was good. I thought Ryan Reynolds did a really good job as Deadpool. And I guess my biggest problem with this movie is it's kind of like a comedy superhero, like a superhero parody almost. I mean, even though like Deadpool doesn't really feel like a superhero, this movie doesn't really feel like a superhero movie. feels a little bit more like a John Wick type movie, like a comedy version of John Wick. And I think that's partially from the director, but even the first movie had those vibes. Because he's a fucking assassin. I mean, he does have superpowers. But anyways, you know, it had, you know, that was the biggest problem. Is a lot of the comedy didn't hit, but the action scenes, and we did have a good amount of action scenes. Like the action scenes, they did a good job breaking in action scenes to the point where it's like, it's a Deadpool comedy movie. Like, you know, they didn't want to make like 20, 30 minutes where it's just dialogue. You have to put in the action. So it worked in that sense where there was a lot of action scenes that were well shot. So I don't think the movie's completely terrible from that standpoint, but a lot of the comedy kind of just missed for me personally. I thought there were like 10 funny jokes, and the X-Force thing was pretty funny. But, I mean, for every good joke, there were 5 jokes that were ranged from cringy to just, I didn't really find that funny because the comedic timing was off, but it might have been funny otherwise if done right. So that was kind of something to keep in mind. Another thing I had kind of a problem with is this movie really felt like it had no stakes at all. Because first off, you have Cable's time traveling, which comes into play quite a bit. No spoilers there, but Cable's time traveling comes into play quite a bit. And Deadpool is just such an OP character where it's like his powers that he's just fucking invincible. Like, that's his entire thing. It's like, you can get blown to pieces, then he comes back, he's fine. It's like, okay. So,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of good in this movie, there's a lot of bad in this movie, but overall, I wouldn't call the movie bad. I'd call it an alright time. Just like the first Deadpool, which we didn't review on this channel, I don't think. It was an alright time. This was an alright time. I'd recommend seeing it.
Silly touch.
Oh. You know, I recommend seeing it. It's okay. I mean, maybe not. I guess I just kind of went ahead of myself there. I'm a little bit drunk. This shit's pretty strong, at least. It's got me.
It's strong.
It's done some justice.
Gross, but it's strong.
I feel like a whimsical hammered right now, where I'm like not even like, I don't know, I'm just retarded off this shit. But anyways, Deadpool, it's an alright movie. What did you think of this movie, Aiden?
Deadpool 2 has the same major problem that Deadpool 1 did, where it feels like a generic superhero movie, but with dick and poopy jokes and blood. Like, if you took out the dick and poopy jokes and blood, and this was like a, let's say, I'm trying to think of a character who's like comparable to Deadpool. Like a Cyclops movie.
Cyclops?
Or a Wolverine movie.
Cyclops?
Or literally anyone. If you just took out the dick and poopy jokes, and you took out the blood, then this would just be a generic superhero movie. It doesn't. It's a pretty shitty parody or whatever it is.
Superhero movie would be like, I'm trying to think of the most generic superhero movie I can possibly think of. Probably like Ant-Man.
This movie kind of feels
Iron Man 2.
Thor-ish.
Thor?
I mean, it's certainly much.
Generic.
It's certainly much better than Thor. But
Thor isn't even that generic. It's just bad. I mean, Thor 1 and 2. Thor 3 was pretty good.
For a movie that tries to sell itself as like
It's okay, at least.
some grand parody of superheroes, it's really not a parody. It's just a normal superhero movie, but there's a scene where Deadpool puts his balls in his tiny baby dick comes out. Like,
Yeah.
if Thor was the main character of this movie, and it was about him protecting a kid from a time-traveling guy with a gun, it'd be the same movie, except you would never see a scene in Thor where he had a little baby
Let's
dick.
be fair, though. You can say that about any superhero movie because the fucking genre is either, you know, there's a few scenarios a superhero genre can go with.
Yes, it's
You
still
have
fun.
a superhero, and then he has to find a MacGuffin,
Protect
blatantly
MacGuffin.
fight a villain, protect a MacGuffin.
Yes.
like there's some that don't even that just skip the MacGuffin and go straight to the superhero. Most of them have the MacGuffin of some sort. So I guess you do have that. That's a good point.
But there's like,
or they're trying to stop somebody from
Deadpool.
collecting the MacGuffin.
yeah, that one too.
Yeah, because all of
Deadpool's-
the Avengers, they're all trying to collect the MacGuffin. They're all trying to stop
Pretty
the
much.
MacGuffins.
Thor, he's looking for the hammer. Iron Man, he fights the bad guy for no reason.
Well, no, I'm talking about the actual Avengers movies. They're pretty insane when you really think about it.
Oh yeah, no,
The first one, Loki comes down to Earth to get the Infinity Cube. Number 2, don't remember the plot to Avengers 2. Avengers 3, Thanos comes down to get
Ultron
the
is really evil and he tries to.
Well,
lift
Ultron
up-
is the
he,
Tony Stark AI.
he tries to lift up a city to do to
blow up
get a
Earth.
thing. He's
I
trying to
think
get
it's
a
like
thing.
maybe if he drops it, it devastates Earth. I don't remember. I don't recall the plot of that movie at all. I don't really recall it.
Fucking trash.
I mean, I know Ultron's evil and Andy Serkis is in it. He's like, you don't know what the power you created. And then fucking Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are doing
Yeah, okay,
whatever.
but anyway,
Pointless, not really
you know,
related.
as far as it goes, you know, I feel kind of let down.
But wait, one thing I gotta say though, you said the point of the movie is to be a grand parody of superhero movies, so it should be different plot-wise from the superhero movie. Wouldn't a
Well,
parody
no.
pretty much want to follow the plot
It's not.
beats, except just make fun
Deadpool's
of
not
it?
really a parody.
Like Young
Deadpool's
Frankenstein.
Deadpool's kind of supposed. Deadpool's not really a parody like Young Frankenstein. It tries to be a subversion, and not in like the Star Wars Episode 8 way, but it's like
Isn't Young Frankenstein
He's
just
like
a subversion of the Frankenstein formula?
no, it's
I'm
a
just playing
parody.
devil's advocate.
It's a
here.
parody because it's making fun of elements. But what Deadpool tries to do,
Just make fun
is-
of elements.
no, Deadpool tries to be a superhero movie, but like if the superhero
Also
was
with
just
jokes.
like. If the superhero was just like,
But that's the Deadpool
dumb
character.
asshole.
That's the Deadpool character.
but that's not what they
But it's-
do at all. It's literally a generic superhero movie with dick and poopy jokes. He's not subverting anything. Watchmen is a subversion of superheroes because everyone in that movie is or in the
asshole.
book is a dumb asshole.
Well, the movie's just is an exact rip. It's just
Yeah.
that I don't
Yeah.
think they did a good job adapting it.
Not
really.
One Punch Man is a subversion of superhero movies because it's about a guy who's bored of being a superhero movie. Deadpool is a superhero movie, except he pulls out a tiny little CGI baby dick and says, "Look, I have a CGI baby dick. Hey Peter, remember that time I had a CGI baby
I mean,
dick?"
that's a fundamental problem with the character in the source material. But the source
Yes, it
material
is.
makes money.
The character and the source material are inherently flawed, and the movies follow that same formula.
I mean,
And
you
it
can't,
makes the movies come out feeling kind of generic. If you strip away seeing the CGI baby penis, it feels like a generic movie. That said, there was a few parts that made me laugh. Not many. I mean, there are a small handful of memorable things, and then there was really cringy things like the part where Deadpool goes on like a 5-minute rant about how much he loves dubstep.
I think the
Which is
baby
really-
penis scene was embarrassing.
Really embarrassing.
The baby penis scene was
The
embarrassing.
baby penis scene
If it
made
was-
me want to die.
If it was like shorter, like we see Deadpool, because they pointed it out for like 5 straight minutes. If the whole scene
oh yeah,
was
so
like,
he has a baby.
if it was like
Wow,
showing
that's
him
a
from
baby
the
penis.
top and the conversation was normal, then Deadpool's like, let's get to business.
He stood up.
And then it like pans out and he stands up and he's got a little baby penis. It might have caught me by surprise and been like, oh look, he's got a little
They did
baby
like
penis.
5 minutes of TJ Miller just saying, "Look at that baby penis." You know?
Well then Cable's like, that is a baby-sized penis. So it's like, okay.
Yeah,
We get it.
Yeah.
And then the blind lady's like feeling it up. She's like, it's like, okay, we get he's got a small baby-sized
Pretty much.
penis.
This movie.
I think the
This
amount
movie-
of times we said baby penis is gonna get us on a list and arrested. But anyways, whatever.
problem with
ship is sailed.
Part of it's like in the first Deadpool jokes, there was a lot of things that made me laugh, and there was a lot of things that I just didn't find funny. But like when things weren't funny in the first Deadpool, it was like meh. Here it's like there was like 5 things that made me laugh, and everything else made me want to commit suicide
Also,
in my seat.
the title sequence.
Except T.J. Miller in the first movie was
Maybe it's because they just
incredibly
exactly
cringy.
reused the joke. But in the first Deadpool, when they did like the opening sequence and it was like fucking Faggot McGee, starring Faggot McGee or whatever.
Yeah.
That was kind of funny. Maybe it was because it was the first time they did it. Like, I don't
It
know if
felt
I
like
hadn't
wasn't
seen it the
funny
first
at
time.
all.
But this time, like, the names weren't as funny as the last one, I thought. And second off, it's like, okay, I've literally seen this before.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of this movie did kind of have me saying.
The one thing
I've
that
seen this
made me
before.
cringe in the first movie was T.J. Miller's parts, where he just like, clearly he was just improvising. He'd be like, "You look like a avocado dick had a shit on Miley Cyrus,"
Jesus, though.
just for like 40 minutes. And this entire movie, any part that wasn't funny felt like a T.J. Miller part from the first movie, which really dragged it down. But the action was pretty good. I like Cable. I like Josh Brolin as Cable. I think he's pretty cool guy. He's pretty intimidating. You kind of
Crushing these Marvel roles,
pretty
a month.
pretty sick guy.
Wonder how the contracts worked out, where he's like, yeah, the fucking main character in 2 different Marvel movies.
And I liked the X-Force, and I liked seeing the original X-Men. But that said, in the end, the movie's kind of just mediocre-ish. Like, I don't know. It's on a similar level to the first movie, where like I didn't hate it, and I don't know if I really liked it. I think the first one's slightly better.
Yeah.
The action's slightly better in this one, but the first one was better overall. The second one's kind of just, you know, I'm sure a lot of people go to it and love it because they're stupid. But I think, honestly, for me, I went into it and I was like, which is, you know, better than I can say for The Last Jedi, better than I'll probably say for Solo.
Better than a lot of movies that come out lately, really.
Solo's gonna be the worst movie we've ever seen.
I doubt that.
No, it probably will be.
It is gonna be the worst movie we'll ever see. First off, that comes up a lot. But honestly, if I had to pick, if I was held at gunpoint right now and somebody said you're gonna spend the rest of your life watching one of these fucking movies, and then fucking Power Rangers, fucking Han Solo movie, and fucking I don't know what was fucking terrible. And
Pacific Rim Uprising.
Pacific Rim Uprising. If the 3 of them were there, I'd be like Han Solo. Yeah, it would probably be torturous. Granted, I haven't seen Han Solo. Not casting judgments, but it's a movie I do not want to see in the slightest.
The thing that
But if somebody
Han
said you
Solo
literally
is
have a
kinda
choice between a bullet in your cranium or watching one of the 3 for the rest of your life, I'd probably pick Solo pretty easily.
the problem with Han Solo is that it's kind of just like raping something I like.
And would I rather
Which
watch
Disney has been doing
Mother?
for years now.
Would I rather watch Mother, the fucking
Mother's-
sense rapist?
Mother's
For
not
hours?
a movie. Mother is just 2 hours of fucking horrible noise.
All it is horrible noise. It's like, would it be artistic? Would it really work with our metaphor if we just like had Jennifer Lawrence put on a strap on and rape a baby right in its baby penis?
Connor, would you recommend Deadpool 2?
If you like superhero movies, and if you like the first Deadpool, or if you like kind of like a John Wick type movie where it just has cool action scenes. I mean, with the John Wick style thing, obviously, like John Wick does it better. That it has better. I mean, it doesn't have the cringy ass jokes, but it does have some funny parts. So I suppose I can see a lot of recommending this to a lot of people. If you like the first Deadpool movie like a lot, if you're like, damn, I love the first Deadpool, you're probably gonna really like this movie because I think the jokes, even though it's less funny than the first Deadpool, yes, but it's the same type of humor and shit. So I'm pretty sure if you like that, then yes. It's a pretty thin crowd of people I'd really say no to. Like, if you're just tired of superhero films, I don't know why you would watch this movie. Maybe if you really like the action genre. I mean, yes and no. Kind of depends. If you have any interest in it, it's worth checking out. If you're like, fuck it, because I don't want to see a superhero movie, I don't want to see a Deadpool movie, and I really just find stupid shit and poopy jokes unfunny, then probably no. But I personally thought it was okay. Aiden, would you recommend Deadpool to?
Yeah, it's a loose recommendation. It's, you know, most people are probably gonna like it. So yeah, I'd tell most people to see it. It's not bad enough that anybody's gonna be severely disappointed with their $5 spent.
I mean, if you expected this movie to be worse than it is, I don't know if I was trying to say better or worse. I don't know what I was going for. I don't know what I was going for.
Anyway,
I was too faded off this crappy vodka.
Bye-bye.
You're in your undies.
Yeah.
With your dick hanging out.